Hey guys and welcome! Boy oh boy do we have a feral scrap today! In times of great need, the Slann will demand that the Temple Guard march to war alongside their Saurus and Skink brethren, and this is looking like a rubber duck build if ever I've seen one, but it is not indeed me playing, it is instead its current year, an OG legend who's been around in the community for quite some time. Massive shout out for sending this one in, up against the Force of Khorne. Pretty excited to see how this goes in general. People have been telling me that lizardmen kind of suck in multiplayer nowadays, which is really breaks my little duck heart. But hopefully we get that proven wrong in the near future by its current year here. So a couple of Skink Javelins on the flanks. We also have a large amount of Temple Guard and Saurus. Temple Guard as well as the Umbral Tide. Honestly, this looks like straight out of a Rubber Duck of War kind of battle guide from a couple of years ago. I love it. We have Star Chamber Guardians in the center, Feral Cold Ones as well, holding down the flanks and the rear. They won't do a huge amount of damage, they do rampage as well, but they are exceptional at pinning the enemy in place, which is just what you need when you have loads of Temple Guard and Umbral Tide to bring the pain and damage. We have Colossodon Hunters up in the skies, big fan of these ROR Ripidactyl Riders, and it looks like our grand leader is the Slann Mage Priest. This is probably the biggest giveaway that it's not me playing because this isn't Crocky G. And yeah, the Slann Mage Priest is going to be coming in with bonus Time Warp and Far's Protection. Good spells all round. Bonus Time Warp alongside Temple Guard, a classic from the good old Felcon days. For the Forces of Khorne, a bucket ton of doggos. This is pretty much what you expect in every Khorne build. Load of Warhounds and Fleshhounds. Looks like we have 6 units total. 4 units of Warhounds and 2 units of the Fleshhounds wrapping around the flanks. A bucket ton of infantry going very wide. This is a really solid battle plan. Hellforged Host will decimate just infinite amounts of Saurus Warriors and a load of shielded Chaos Warriors to try and absorb probably like a kite style of play. Lots of javelins, blowpipes and stuff that you can often come to expect. We do have some Chaos Furies up in the skies, and then we have Skarbrand the Exiled, the biggest, the meanest, and the reddest of them all. He can certainly put a bit of a whooping down on that Slann Mage Priest. Needs to be careful though. Umbral Tide and Colossodon Hunters will tear him a new butthole, and that's not something anyone really wants. It's just not very convenient. The Saurus Warrior formation is going to be moving up, taking the high ground, learning the ways of the old Ben and Obi-Wan Kenobi. I love this play here, moving up, but little does he know it's going to be a bit of a bait and a trap. Chaos Warhounds do try to spring this trap. Looks like they're attempting to jump on top of the Skink cohorts. Not a bad target to attempt to assassinate quickly, but the Emerald Tide would have been a far more suitable opponent to really delve into. Now, really interesting play on this side. The Hounds crash down into the Skinks, but the Colossodon Hunters are able to rear attack into them, go into their Toad Rage, do a bucket ton of damage. However, Skarbrand has now moved in alongside the support of the Chaos Furies, and it is messy down here. I think the Lizardmen will lose the engagement, but it's going to be probably relatively cost effective, at least as far as damage is concerned, as now the Umbral Tide is also going to start opening some shots up. Skarbrand takes big hits in the early game, but that right-hand flank for the Lizardmen is crumbling, and Warhounds are pushing through in hot pursuit of the Umbral Tide, realizing they're going to be a big threat. They do have a pullback through Temple Guard. Smart play by its current year. Big Banishment does go down on this side. Does decent damage with the Hellforged Host, but then alas, it does kind of go in the wrong direction. The Winds of Magic weren't very kind there. And all along the front, Chaos Warriors are beating back the Saurus Warriors, trying to smack them into submission. They will win that fight. However, the Saurus won't go down without a bit of a scrap, and certainly will be able to hold for a long time. Elsewhere, Umbral Tide and Javelins adding some fire to the flames as the Feral Cold Ones pin in some of the Chaos Warriors. More Warhounds do dive into the back, but look at this protection so far. Lovely play to keep the Umbral Tide nice and happy. They are finally caught by some Furies, but then in swoop the Feral Cold Ones from the high ground, cackling and roaring manically as they charge into the enemies. They smell blood, and they are some happy doggos indeed. It looks like the Colossodon Hunters have somehow survived. They're so squishy, and they survived the absolute massacre on this flank. Temple Guard are in support. These are the Star Chamber Guardians going toe-to-toe with the Hellforged Host. Now, this is a fight I would love to see in all its cinematic glory. And it looks like with the Hunter's help, the Hellforged Host, who should be winning this, taking significant casualties right now. There is 2 units of Temple Guard over here, which should move it into favor of the Lizardmen. Elsewhere, Chaos Warriors are being beaten back by Temple Guard, but we have a Horn of Khorne giving them a bit of a buff. Elsewhere in the front line, the Lizardmen are starting to falter. either. Umbral Tide have survived still, yet again. Going to be turning around to put some shots into the Flesh Hound. Relatively solid target. And this is a bit of a problem now. Oh my god, look how fast this Slan's moving. Brona's Time Warp. He is just absolutely swooping through the air, looking to escape Scarbrand there, who's not having a great day at the moment. Though he's up to 19 kills. He really wants that Slan booty, and can you blame him? Big axe to the back, but in swoop once again the Colossadon Hunters with Brona's Time Warp on them. That melee attack up to 90. They're going to rip and tear into the favoured of Khorne, or I guess not favoured of Khorne. He's trying to get back in the good books, I believe. But this evil champion of kind of darkness and Khorne is getting his ass kicked kind of right now. Blood Statue of Spite does indeed go down on him. Slan's even moving into some hand-to-hand combat. You've got to love to see it. The flanks are breaking. Warriors pouring through the gaps. Hounds rampaging in the back line. Things are looking a little bit bleak for the Dino Boys, but they still have that strong pocket of Temple Guard dotted around the battlefield, trying to rally around that Slan. And this is something the Khorne player has to bear in mind. Yes, he wants to kill that Slan as swiftly and quickly as possible, take out the enemy leadership, take out their magic. However, if that Slan is surrounded by Temple Guard, you cannot do it with Scarbrand alone. He will take simply too much damage for what you're getting in return. It looks like he is going for the move, but the Temple Guard are rushing back in an attempt to save him. We do have the Aura of Quetzal that go down here, increasing the armor and melee defense on this Slan, but rather smartly here, Scarbrand has been able to force the Slan away from the support of the Temple Guard. Umbral Tide, though, opening up, sent in his fire. I'm about to say sent his fire on booty, but sent his booty on fire. And he's not having a great time there, though. He is taking down the Slan relatively quickly. The isolation away from the Star Chamber Guardians is a little bit rough for sure. Temple Guard are able to kind of smash the heads in of those Chaos Warriors. Elsewhere, though, Saurus are starting to crumble. Balance power very, very even, but we're about to see a massive dip in favor of Khorne if this Slan goes down. Cold-Blooded is popped, trying to keep him in the fight. We have some skinks rocking up. They're about to throw in some javelins. I don't think it's going to be enough, no. Scarbrand is still very healthy. What a hit as well. Load of javelins come in. He is poisoned, but still 5,400 HP is going to be quite bad. And balance power now is in favor of the Khorne forces. However, we take an overlook on the battlefield. The Lizardmen are rallying. The death of the Slan emboldening them to greater feats of heroism. And we still have the Star Chamber Guardians, and they don't give a flying fuck that the Slan's dead. If anything, they just want blood and vengeance. Carving apart those Chaos Warriors. Scarbrand's legging it, trying to save himself for now. He's going to do a nice rear attack into the Star Chamber Guardians. Was that some fire? Are the Umbral Tides still alive? Yes, they are! The bestest of doggos raining shots in. Looks like they're currently aiming for the Chaos Warriors. Not a bad play, I guess. You want to break these guys, as they're going to be the units which can grind down the Temple Guard that remain, because Scarbrand certainly is not going to do it. Although the Umbral Tide now open up on the more profitable venture of hunting Scarbrand himself. We have Feral Cold Ones going in. A lovely, lovely rampage proc there from the Rage embodied by the Khorne player. That is going to force the Umbral Tide into hand-to-hand combat, just where Scarbrand wants them, and just where they don't really want to be, and that is a horrible sight. This is not okay. Look at these dead little guys. Oh, that's heartbreaking. The poor little rolled up Umbral Tide have been slain, but the Temple Guard moving once more. It looks like they're also going into a bit of a rage, but if anything, they will welcome the darkness and the revenge that will come with it. Scarbrand, lovely charge directly downhill, pushing Saurus and Temple Guard all over the place, but he can only run for so long. Eventually, he's going to have to stand and fight here. Those Feral Cold Ones nipping at his heels, trying to hunt him down like a kind of warhounds, just slowly pushing him into the way of the Saurus, guiding the feral Scarbrand into the mighty halberds of the Temple Guard. Balance power dead even, despite the fact their lord is gone. Let's take an overarching view of the battlefield. There is not much left that could come back. Umbral Tide maybe could rally, but the forces of Khorne are dipping, and they are dipping fast. We have 37 Chaos Warriors who could possibly return. I'm not particularly banking on it. Balance power is now against them. And look at the Temple Guard. All 3 units still alive. They've been fighting so hard. And Star Chamber Guardians swoop in. And Scarbrand continues to try to kind of punch and move a little bit. But he is well and truly surrounded now. And he will not last long at all. Look at that health drip off him. Big chunks of flesh and demonic fluids pouring all over the floor, and down he goes. He can barely believe it. Look at that stunned face as the Temple Guard do finish him off. A Pyrrhic victory for the forces of its current year, going under the name Duncan Mubbles Pineapple. His current year, I just love him. He's such a cool dude. And thank you for sending in the replay. Really awesome stuff. If you do want to submit replays to the channel, I'm casting like a video a week basically at the moment. There is links down below to my Discord where you can submit stuff via the replays for casting section. Well played as well. I'm going to completely butcher this name. Lego Praesagus Sabris Regnum. That's what I'm saying the name is. I apologize for butchering the pronunciation, but very good play all round. The Scar brand play in particular was rather tasty, coming in with 3,000 gold value. Hellforged Host, only 780. It really came down to that trio units of Temple Guard being that solid base. Lovely play as well, pulling the enemy through them whenever they possibly could. 1k value, 1.5k value, 1.5k value again. Big kills as well, not just taking down the large targets, also crushing at the enemy infantry. And the Colossan Hunters I thought were used really well as well. 1,200 value on them, 817 in the Umbral Tide isn't phenomenal, but they hit pretty key targets, and they're a constant thorn in the Khorne player's side because he had to put so much resources into attempting to hunt them down, and ended up wasting a lot of those resources due to the fact the Umbral Tide were pulling them in to the Temple Guard, and those are rather scary halberds. I would not want to fight someone who knows how to use a halberd. Like, I don't even know how you'd get close. Armor doesn't protect you because they can kind of crush you, and in the hands of a gigantic lizard man who also has a tail and razor claws and teeth, it's just going to be an absolute nightmare. So I don't blame the forces of Khorne from retreating. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, peace, and stay awesome, and feel free to leave a like, subscribe, all that good juicy stuff. Until next time, I will see you soon. Bye bye.